You've probably seen the SnapOn Tools trucks driving around your own city, but did you know most of these routes are franchises and owned by independent franchise owners? But is SnapOn Tools a good franchise opportunity? How much is a franchise to buy? And do franchise owners actually make $3 million a year? We'll take a look at that today on Franchise City. Not a single week goes by that we don't get a call asking about SnapOn Tools, and we've had many ex-owners call us to complain and vent over the years. Now, there's a lot more that we can advise people over the phone than we can say publicly, but let's address what we can say publicly today. So you might have seen other sources here on YouTube and throughout the web saying that SnapOn Tools franchise owners are making over $3 million a year. You might also have heard SnapOn Tools has almost zero failed franchises. So are these things true? Yes. Is it misleading as heck? Absolutely. So the total investment to begin a SnapOn Tools franchise is going to range from about $217,000 to $480,000. A SnapOn Tools franchise is not really a low-cost business to start up, and there are many other options that can be less work, more scalable, and demonstrate higher average revenues in this particular investment range. Now, the startup cost breakdown, I'll put them up on the screen, with the major outlays being initial inventory, $135,000 to $145,000. Your van will run about $65,000 to $195,000. 3 months of working capital between $5,000 and $27,000. And please don't make the mistake that many inexperienced buyers make, thinking that 3 months of money of your working capital is all that you're going to need, and you'll be seeing profit after that. You might need a lot more depending on how your business actually goes. Franchise companies, they put in 3 months. They all do it. That doesn't mean that's when your business is going to break even. License fee is between $8,000 to $16,000. Plus, you've got various other expenses up here, insurance, software, etc. Now, you can see here they've put zero down for real estate, but your local laws might actually prohibit you from parking a work truck, a SnapOn Tools van, in the driveway of your residence. So always check the restrictions beforehand, as this might be an additional expense and a potential headache if you have to park far away from your house. So $3 million a year, where does this originate from? Well, it's actually from their own latest franchise disclosure, and it's true. If we look here, the highest total sales of a franchisee is over $3 million. But this is one owner in a system of over 3,000 owners, and I can guarantee you this owner has been building that business for many years, perhaps decades, and probably owns multiple routes. Now, you're not going to make anywhere near that amount, particularly in your first few years. Also, remember, that's gross sales. Don't forget, you also have to buy the tools. That's subtracted from that. And you're only getting around 10 to 40% discounted over suggested sales, as we can see in their FDD. Then you've got to make your van payment, pay for gas, pay for insurance, pay for taxes. How much is actually left over? Now, you can see the average sales are closer to about $800,000. And if you've got, say, a 10 to 15% margin, you're actually taking home between $80,000 to $120,000. But as many owners attest on the internet, you are working 60 hours a week, not only driving your route, you're working evenings and weekends, you're also doing paperwork, you're doing warranties, you're handling inventory. And this franchisee suggests he is not happy. And $100,000 a year, if you're working 60 hours a week, that works out to around $33 an hour. Is it worth it to take on the risk of a business and all the other things that you have to worry about? That's your decision. Now, even Forbes included SnapOn as a top 20 franchise opportunity for the buck, as they stated, and lauded their zero failure rate. Well, we've called out Forbes before and the Franchise 500 as complete garbage. I'll post a link above. And even Forbes finally issued a sort of apology that their coverage was misleading. Absolutely it was. Now, I'm sure the franchisees that lost $200,000 or more on a franchise forgive you. So here is the real problem and why this is so misleading. A franchise legally only has to report a closed store if the franchise actually closes. It's abandoned. It's gone. If the franchise buys back a failed franchise, even for pennies on the dollar, even if they pay $100, that technically is not a failed franchise. Now let's take a look at the hundreds of franchises acquired and resold by SnapOn Tools just in the most recent 2024 disclosure alone. Take a look here in Florida. It closed a location in 2022, acquired by SnapOn, refranchised, closed again in 2022, and then was sold again, all in 1 year alone. And you can see all of these states listed have SnapOn franchisee who ceased operations or were terminated. SnapOn purchased it and resold that territory to another franchisee. Now, guess who makes money every single time a franchise is acquired and resold to another buyer? Well, SnapOn Tools, in their disclosure, states they made almost $20 million a year from franchise fees and related revenue sources. SnapOn Tools also no stranger to lawsuits. We've covered things like this before on the channel. I won't dig too deeply, but if you look at the SnapOn Tools disclosure document, you're only going to see a few lawsuits pending and resolved, not many at all. This actually looks pretty good. But remember, franchises are not obligated to list all the lawsuits, only ones that fit certain criteria over certain time spans. A very handy website to see all of the lawsuits is casetext.com, and you can search through hundreds of lawsuits by key term involving SnapOn Tools for cases ranging from things like slander and defamation to fraud, breach of contract, and negligence. Many, many, many pages and hundreds of lawsuits to look at. Just a quick overview if somebody is looking at this franchise, some of the common complaints that we hear from franchisees that we can state publicly. Territories being shrunk to such a small size they can't make money. SnapOn Tools treating franchisees badly, forcing them out of profitable territories, having to extend credit. This is one of the things that you're most likely going to have to do as a vendor of SnapOn Tools, is extend credit. And at this point in time, there's a lot of garages that are going out of business. That's an additional risk for you that you should be aware of, and you may potentially lose money in that regard. Others state they were actually misled by the sellers or their representatives regarding profits and time required to operate the business. And what we suggest, what we do with our clients is we take them through the process, give a call to some of the people who actually closed, not just the numbers that they give you and say, hey, this is somebody who's making $2 million a year. They're doing great. Let's call some of the people who closed, find out why they closed. You'll get a very accurate picture from those individuals. So at the end of the day, if you're a social person, you love automotive, you look forward to visiting every single one of your customers at least once a week, and that's actually contractually required, by the way, in the SnapOn Tools agreement. SnapOn could be a fit if there is good territory remaining in your city. But depending on your city's demand, your own skills, your operational preferences, there's quite a few options in that price range that show higher average revenues. It's all about finding the franchise that you're going to be best at operating and has the highest demand in your city demographics. Want to find the best franchises? Always call Franchise City Brokers. I'll place that link above in our franchise education playlist I will post below. Thanks for watching.